Day 37 of being stuck in paradise because the FAA closed the airspace in the Caribbean. Some of you have been speculating whether I am the next dictator to be deposed. I think that's only a matter of time, but I did play a lot of the video game Tropico growing up. But speaking of leaders being deposed, I don't know if Delta Force was responsible for this, but Ruben Amorim just got sacked. And that's what we're here to discuss today, because this makes, and this is true, no fucking sense at all. Now, I'm going to take, apparently after the last match, which was a draw against Leeds, where Brendan Aronson, American hero, scored the last goal Ruben Amorim conceded as a manager of Manchester United, which I find funny. Apparently he knew going into that match, at least I've seen some reporting, some people talk, he knew going into that match that he was going to be fired. So those comments that he made in the press conference, and he was basically just kind of firing from the hip, did not necessarily contribute to him getting sacked. So I'm not going to bring that stuff up. But this makes no sense to me for a lot of reasons. Because if you were going to sack Ruben Amorim for struggling, you should have sacked him a long time ago. Because I was eating crow. If you don't understand that phrase, I was wrong. Right, I would have sacked Ruben Amorim halfway through last season, right? Because you're bringing in Ruben Amorim to try and create this project. Manchester United ends up finishing, whatever it was, 16th in the league. Last year, they were just unimaginably bad. Remember where Manchester United was even under Jose Mourinho? It's like, oh goodness, they're competing for 4th in the league. It's the hell is frozen over, right? Manchester United has fallen to such a ridiculous point with what Ruben Amorim was doing last year as a manager, that's when he should have been fired. But all I was told over the course of that time was that Ruben Amorim was a very gifted team-building manager, system-building manager, and that Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whatever, whoever, they believed in that. They believed in it, that they were going to invest their time and their resources in making that come through, and that they were going to give him the faith to be able to execute it. It was starting to work. I mean, sure, they still aren't great. But let's look at the Premier League table this year, which is accordioned. Obviously, I mean, like 5th to 13th seems to all be right next to each other. But I'm going to pull up that Premier League table right now. As it stands today, me, from my hiding place here, from Chelsea in 5th on 31 points, to Crystal Palace in 14th on 27. It's a 4-point gap. Manchester United's in 6th. They're 6th in the league. Maybe they're looking at that point gap and being like, oh, United should be able to separate. Or, very fairly, Manchester United has won 8 of the 20 Premier League matches they've played this season. That is disappointing. Right? But last year, they were so much worse than that. Right? Like Premier League 2025 table. Expand standings. Sorry, they finished 15th. They got ahead of Wolves on goal difference. They finished with 42 points for the entire season. That's 18 more matches from where they are now. 18 more. They've only played 20 matches. They're on 31 points. I know it's Manchester United we're talking about here, and they should be winning the league every year and be one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world. That's the brand that they built. That is not who this team is anymore. And if they're ever going to try to get back there, you're going to have to build your way back in that direction. And I was fully prepared to admit that I was wrong, and Ruben Amorim was building it back in that direction. They are objectively better this year than they were last year. They are. They're getting better results. They're 11 points away with 18 matches left from where they were last season. They're going to blow that out of the water. At their current rate of points, they're going to crush that. Right? They're going to end up, likely, based off the current rate of point, like the points that have been gotten. Let me look this up. A little quick math here for you. He's averaging 1.55 points per match. Times 18, that's 28 more points that he's likely to pick up in the league. That's 59. That's 59 points for the season that he's on pace to get right now with Manchester United. That's a 17-point improvement. How the fuck are you sacking him now? Like, I get that you want, but it's working. Sure, if he gets stuck in this spot the next season or two, You go, well, all right, well, he turned it around to a certain point, and now we need to get rid of him. But you rode it out with him when you were in the dumpster. And now when you're climbing out of the dumpster, you've been dumped into the back of a garbage truck, except you jumped out of the back of the garbage truck before it got to the dump. And now you're rolling over on the side of the road, dusting yourself off, starting to walk back into town, right? You just saved your life. Sure, you're not great. You're only 3 points behind Liverpool. Yeah, Arne Slot's in the hot seat, obviously. But what are we doing here? Right? You're 3 points behind the team that just won the league last season. They didn't fire their manager. You know why? Because they won the league with him last season. And they believe that he's going to be able to, get things turned around, get things pointed in the right direction. Manchester United showed that belief in front of a firing squad last year. And then for some reason, they're firing him now. I don't get it. I mean, just when you start to get things to go in the right direction. But it's hard to argue overall with the fact that Ruben Amorim should be fired. These are the numbers for overall win percentage of all the post-Sir Alex Ferguson managers. He's the only one below 52%. He's at 37, and that's rounding up. It gets even worse when you look at the Premier League. His Premier League win rates, since Sir Alex Ferguson, including Sir Alex Ferguson, he won 32% of his matches in the Prem. David Moyes won 50%, and it was like hell froze over. Right? There is an old adage when it comes to firing coaches, managers in any sport, right? That adage is you don't know what you have until it's gone. And be careful what you wish for. Removing one manager, you can always get worse. This is the caution that I would throw at Liverpool here. Liverpool's in a transitional time. You've got a manager that you won the league with last season. You're having a down year, but be careful what you wish for. Obviously, you could hit, but you already know Arne Slot can win the league as the manager. Right? You can argue maybe you didn't build the team, but I'm just saying, if you get rid of Arne Slot, you could, it can go wrong. It can go horribly wrong. Because as good as Liverpool thinks they are now, Manchester United was a bigger, better club when Sir Alex Ferguson left it. And you end up spiraling down this rabbit hole, and you end up with a Ruben Amorim situation where Ruben Amorim wins 32% of his Premier League matches. But I don't think that there's any... I don't think there's any serious justification for it now. At all. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand why they would fire him now. Like, I know they've won one of their last 5. They drew Wolves, which is incredibly frustrating, but it's like it's a couple frustrating results. You had a year of frustrating results last year that ended with the most frustrating one of all. You lost to Tottenham in a European final. You didn't fire him after any of that. And you fire him now. I would love to understand. Maybe they just ran out of patience. But this is what you were waiting for. He's about to lead Manchester United back into a European place in the league after what was clearly the worst Manchester United team in a generation. And then you could say, well, next season we need to really push for Champions League. You get freaking Champions League this year. Hell, all you got to do is beat Wolves. You're 1 point out of Champions League. You beat Wolves and Leeds, 2 bad teams. You're in a Champions League spot right now. And if you really are so knee-jerk that, those 2 or 3 results are going to lead to a firing, then how the hell did you not fire him last year? Because you probably should have. But they stuck to their guns, and they almost made everybody look stupid. If he had been able to pull out a top 5 finish this year, which was very much potentially in the cards. Now, look, if he slips down to 14th, if they don't win in 4 or 5 matches, then I get it. They're not there yet. The whole goal was to give him the time to build the team up to be able to start to rise up the table. And I'm sorry, but I see them rising up the table. And if we're just going to keep firing people because those people can't take Manchester United to the top of the league, then you're just going to keep firing people. Because what you need to do is what Arsenal did. Right? That's just obvious. I mean, it's obvious to anybody that sees it. Arsenal went and hired a guy, trusted the guy. The guy was never as bad as Ruben Amorim was. That guy obviously being Mikel Arteta, but he built up a new core of a team and now has a perennial top 4, top 2 potential league winner this year put together. Manchester United could have been on that with Ruben Amorim, as unbelievable as it feels. This is what it would look like to move in the right direction. Remember, they're on pace for 58, 59 points this year. That's a significant improvement from where they were last year. And you can keep pointing to that improvement in the transfer market and developing players and whatever. It looked like I was wrong. I felt like I was going to have to apologize for saying, trusting Ruben Amorim in that spot last year in the offseason was a bad idea. But now we'll never know. I'm kind of frustrated that we're never going to know. I wanted to know if he was actually going to be able to raise United all the way up. I wanted to know. But yeah, I mean, hard to argue with the fact that he should be fired in the first place. The logic around all of this is flawed. Also, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I am stuck in the Caribbean. There are worse places to be stuck. And I got a fun ism to talk about, so that was good.